Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us at the MarketSite studio, we have Amanda Eilian. She's the founding partner of Able Partners, a healthcare investment fund that looks at well-being and newer forms of healthcare. It is great to have you with us, Amanda. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks, Jill.
And I'm super excited that you're joining us today because we're going to discuss how primary care is changing for women's health, which is really important. What are the invisible diseases that disproportionately impact women?
So when I think about invisible diseases, diseases that wouldn't necessarily be apparent to the untrained eye, autoimmune comes up. And so autoimmune diseases, which is a host of diseases, everything from Crohn's disease to lupus to fibromyalgia, those diseases disproportionately affect women about 80%. So those are diseases that have not received as much attention from the healthcare system. So we're excited about some different alternative approaches to treating those.
How does the food we eat play a role?
So food plays a huge role across a variety of disease states, everything from prevention to management to even in some cases reversal. And as it relates to autoimmune conditions, it plays a particularly strong role because food can be pro-inflammatory or food can be anti-inflammatory, and inflammation plays a big role in autoimmune. And in terms of autoimmune and other diseases, the immune system is very linked to metabolism because the immune system, the cells in the immune system are the largest energy consumers of all the cells in your body. So when you think about what that energy is coming from your food. So the food that we eat does impact your autoimmune conditions as well as other illnesses.
And it's more than just the gut, right? I mean, it impacts all of the different systems that we have, virtually all of them. It also has an economic impact as well.
That's right. So the gut affects nearly every system in your body, and gut disorders have been linked to increased incidences of everything from Alzheimer's disease to multiple sclerosis. And when you think about the economic impact, gut disorders are actually the third most expensive disorder or illness in the U.S. Healthcare system, which is huge. And a lot of that's related to the really high incidence. So about 20% of Americans are diagnosed with a gut disorder every year.
Yeah. Well, primary care, of course, is a front door to healthcare, and the role can be reimagined if three things happen. What are they?
Well, when I think about reimagining primary care, I think about the fact that the incentives in our healthcare system are really behind right now. So primary care providers are not in any way incentivized to focus on prevention. So on average, they spend about 18 minutes with a person, which is barely enough time to write a prescription, much less get to the root cause of a disease or focus on prevention. So we need to think about changing incentives in the healthcare system and reimbursements and payments so that those providers can actually spend that time. But I think second, and something that we're focusing on this year, is the ability to actually leverage those primary care providers by using insights from large data sets, by using specialty care provider information to actually teach those primary care providers how to manage these more complex chronic conditions, in particular around hormonal health, metabolic health, and mental health.
I mean, it makes so much sense because prevention at the end of the day is going to make it cheaper for the healthcare system overall, right? It's so
Absolutely.
much easier to prevent disease versus the cost of having to treat it, which, I mean, you could be accountable for that for yourself too.
Yeah.
What about mental health solutions?
So we're really interested in alternative approaches to mental health solutions. Mirroring the gut disorders, about 1 in 5 Americans has a clinically diagnosable mental illness every year. And the number of treatments that we have for mental health are not looking like they're very effective. So going back to the food of medicine piece, there is a really strong bidirectional relationship between mental health and metabolism. If you're obese, you have a more than 50% increased chance of developing depression, and if you're depressed, you have a more than 50% increased chance of developing obesity. Of course, there are many confounding factors, but the food that we eat plays a big role in mental health, and that hasn't been focused on very much until now.
It's interesting, I read a piece of research that indicates global menopause market is expected to reach nearly $25 billion by 2030. Are you finding that women are more open to asking questions and speaking about their health? And of course, you want to follow the money, and as our demographics are aging out, and women, of course, have made more money and responsible for their own insurance and health care, I feel like they have more of a platform for this.
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing women, we're seeing everybody, frankly, speak out more about mental health, as I think you're seeing a broader destigmatization around mental health. But as it relates to menopause, when you talk about the economic opportunity, 2 million American women get married every year, and 2 million American women go through menopause every year. But we've only made a big business out of one of those. And the other one, actually, menopause, has a much bigger impact on women's lives, and anybody who works with women or has women in their lives. So there is a really big opportunity to address that. And in addition, when you look at the cost of menopause, about 50% of women with untreated menopause symptoms say that it has impacted their work or in fact made work untenable. So we really need to start addressing that more. It's great that women are speaking out more about it, and now we need to get the treatments.
Do you see more M&A activity in 2023? And if so, what areas stand out?
I think we'll see somewhat of a bifurcation in M&A activity. So as cost of capital increases, some of those later stage deals may not be as frequent. But I think when we look at the earlier stage, the area that we play more often in, the seed stage, the Series A, the Series B, we will see an increase in activity because you'll have a number of companies that fail to be able to raise follow-on rounds. So they fail to find product market fit. Investors are becoming more discerning. They're looking for progress over promises. And so the stronger competitors are opportunistically going to look to acquire the IP or the assets of those other companies.
Well, and to your point earlier, the data, it's all around data and what's happening with these newer technologies. And if we look at M&A even more broadly, with these valuations being reset, with investors being more discerning, looking at profits versus promises, that's good though. I mean, it's good for private investors. It's also good for public investors as well because, you know, retail wants a chance to participate in this growth as well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
All right, Amanda, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.